A research study suggests that highly intelligent people prefer to be alone. It was published in the British Journal of Psychology, and it set out to investigate if happiness was related to the environment that people lived in. So what they did was they asked 18,000 people about whether they preferred to live in a rural environment or in an urban environment, the country versus the city. They also took note of the IQ of each person as well. The results of the study were as follows. Firstly, people with a higher IQ prefer to live in urban environments. And secondly, those with a lower IQ prefer to live in rural areas. This was a very interesting result. So the researchers dug a bit deeper and tried to figure it out. They argued that our brains evolved in more rural environments, and therefore these environments feel safer and more familiar. But intelligent people are more likely to adapt to the stresses that come from an environment that our brains haven't yet evolved to properly comprehend. Basically, they argued that intelligent people are more able to cope with these conditions and find a lot of opportunity in the cities. The survey also asked people about the quality of their relationships. They found that people with a higher IQ feel happier with fewer social interactions, whereas people with a lower IQ feel happier when they can interact with others more frequently. What the researchers ended up proposing is that the smartest people are more urban-based and loners, whereas those with a lower IQ are more sociable and attached to rural environments. The research study is based on what's known as the savannah theory of happiness, which is that the human brain was largely designed by and adapted to the conditions of the environment before we created an agricultural-based society. Our brains are simply not well suited to comprehending and responding to the unique conditions of a modern day society. So the people with a more average or lower level of intelligence will more naturally seek to create conditions in their lives that mirror the way we lived our lives before we invented an agricultural type of society. And the more intelligent people are able to adapt, which is why they seek out urban-based environments. As the researchers wrote, in general, urbanites have higher average intelligence than ruralites do, possibly because more intelligent individuals are better able to live in unnatural settings of high population density. And the researchers concluded, more importantly, the main associations of life satisfaction with population density and socialization with friends significantly interact with intelligence, and in the latter case, the main association is reversed among the extremely intelligent. More intelligent individuals experience lower life satisfaction with more frequent socialization with friends. So I wanted to offer a few reflections on the research study because I think that these conclusions are at best misleading, and quite frankly, I think it's ridiculous. But it's only ridiculous after some deeper reflection. So I have to admit that when I first heard about this study, I fell into the trap of confirmation bias. I'm attracted to living in big cities. I also like my alone time. Therefore, I felt like these things about me made me unique. They made me one of the so-called intelligent loners, as was written about in the study. But here's the trap in this way of thinking. If you do have a high IQ, it's tempting to disengage from people around you. It's tempting to get wrapped up in the qualities that you think make you unique and separate from other people. Having a high IQ is a quality that can get you places in life. It probably means you can hold multiple variables in your mind while processing information. You're probably quite an analytical person. However, if embracing these qualities makes you more likely to embrace being alone, I think that you're missing out on one of the core aspects of what it means to be a human. And this is to embrace community, embrace building relationships with others. And most importantly, embrace building relationships with others that think differently to you. I think that our societies evolve best when People come together around a common idea. There are benefits to be gained from having a diverse mix of people. So if you feel like this is true, if you don't want to hang out with people whose education or background is different from yours, then you're going to miss out on some of the best things in life, because you're missing out on the chance to bring together two worlds that are different. And by being different, we can grow together. So let me explain this in a different way. I think there's this myth about human progress that intelligent people seem to hold on to, and that is the myth of the lone genius. The lone genius myth perpetuates the idea that the world's greatest minds accomplish their feats solo. But in many cases, collaborating with others was actually the key to people getting their genius through and creating the innovations. So Michelangelo, Picasso, Mondrian, we often look at these artists as standalone geniuses, responsible for huge artistic feats or leading entire art movements. But it's simply not true that these people made their breakthroughs without the help of others. Michelangelo, for example, worked with a diverse group of people to pull off the dizzying logics of painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling. It's the same in tech, business, and just about any other realm where single individuals are elevated as luminaries. We celebrate the lone genius, but really our innovations come from collaborations between diverse groups of people. So what's that got to do with the results of this research study? I think it comes down to this. Intelligent people want to feel special for their intelligence. They embrace the idea that it's okay to go it alone. They end up internalizing this idea of being a lone genius themselves in life. But this is a real shame, because I think this internalized story can make you miss out on being part of something bigger. I myself have struggled with this idea. In my own life, I've missed out on the chance to make real connections with people, especially those that are different to me. I used to believe that my so-called intelligence was what made me different, that somehow I thought differently than others, and this made me feel special. I would embrace being a loner, and I would think that I was uniquely able to solve some of the greatest challenges that we faced. But a few years ago, I went through a really transformative process where this whole idea I had of myself ended up getting shattered into 1,000 pieces. I managed to wake up to the reality that yes, I do think differently in many ways, but also I've got so much in common with people around me. And it's better to embrace the things that bring us together than for me to continually emphasize the things that make me different from other people. It comes down to how we get meaning from life, how we define our purpose. Do we define our purpose in life about being the lone wolf, the one that goes to the urban environments to live a life of solitude? Do we allow ourselves to fall into the trap of narcissism, that thinking it's our intelligence that makes us really unique and that this is what justifies a life of being alone? Or can we transcend this and give up on identifying what makes us unique as being about our intelligence? Can we find ourselves in our connection with others? Can we find ourselves in the communities that we build, in the way we build our relationships from a place of humility? The research study about highly intelligent people preferring to be alone may share an accurate conclusion based on the data set that they put together. But there are so many value-based judgments that go into a research study. We need to recognize that we need to make our own moral judgments on the life that we want to live. We can take the results of this research study to confirm the belief we've got about ourselves that we're highly intelligent people and that that's what drives us to living a life alone from others. Or we can see this as a personal challenge to transcend our limitations and to embrace building better and more effective relationships with people, even when they think differently from us. We can define our purpose in life as involving our connection and our collaboration with others. I break this down further in my free masterclass on finding your purpose in life. not from being a lone genius, but from living a more humble life where we help others. There's a link in the description below to access the masterclass. My next video here on YouTube will be on the myth of the lone genius, as I'm now inspired to research this topic in a little bit more depth. So please do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you'd like to see that video. Thanks for being here, and see you next time.